So my name is Madison, and this is Kimiko, and Taryn, and Tori's behind the camera right now, and today we'll be talking about Chicano poetry, more specifically Ana Castillo, as she is a Chicano poet who talks about things such as race, feminism, and gender. She was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1953, and she became involved in Hispanic American artistic circles, and so we're going to be talking about two different poems today that involve Ana Castillo, and we will then go from there.
Ana Castillo talks about Chicanismo, or Chicano feminism, in her writings, and she also challenges a lot of binary oppositions, such as black, white, gay, straight, and male, female. Tori is going to read a quote now from her.
Okay. So it says, Chicano literature is something that we as Chicanas take and define as part of the U.S. North American literature. That literature has to do with our reality, our perceptions of reality, and our perceptions of society in the United States as women of Mexican descent, or Mexican background, or Latina background. So basically she just uses her poetry to combat all these things like homophobia, sexism, racism, and she wants us to understand that Chicano women have different experiences, so it's not just all of the same thing for one Chicano woman. And she also has all these articles and essays that she writes for the Los Angeles Times.
So Chicano literature is actually a form of literature that has emerged from the Chicano feminist movement. It aims to redefine Chicano archetypes, is an effort to provide positive models for Chicanos across the country and the world. Chicano writers redefine their relationship with what Folklore has called Las Tres Madres, which is depicting the feminist sources of strength and compassion in Chicano literature. And now Kimiko will say a little bit more.
Yep. According to the Encyclopedia of Race, Ethnicity, and Society, Chicano feminist writings helped to develop a discourse in opposition to the Eurocentric frameworks. Chicano writing grew out of the Chicano feminism through the feminist journals founded since the 1960s. So now, Maddie will read one of the Ana Castillo's poem, I Ask the Impossible.
I ask the impossible. Love me forever. Love me when all desire is gone. Love me with the single-mindedness of a monk when the world is in its entirety, and all you hold sacred, advise you against it. Love me still more. When rage fills you and has no name, love me. When each step from your door to your job tires you, love me, and from job to home again. Love me when you're bored, when every woman you see is more beautiful than the last, or more pathetic. Love me as you always have. Not as an admirer or a judge, but with the compassion you save for yourself in your solitude. Love me as you relish your loneliness, the anticipation of your death, mysteries of the flesh, as it tears and mends. Love me as your most treasured childhood memory, and if there is none to recall, imagine one, place me there with you. Love me withered as you loved me new. Love me as if I were forever, and I will make the impossible a simple act, by loving you as I do. And now Kimiko will analyze this poem.
Yes, I will. Women described in this poem are too dependent on men and want men to grab them forever, no matter what will happen, which women know is impossible. So women long for eternal love, unchanging love from men, but at the same time they know they will never get such love. That's why the title of this poem is I Ask the Impossible. Maybe women have had some bitter experience. For example, they were betrayed by men they loved, they had a heartbreak, and such experience led them to decide not to trust men. In the picture by Marcus Slayer, a woman looks too dependent on a man, but her nails are sharp and just about to clutch the man's throat. She wears shoes with very high heels, and they look like a weapon. This picture symbolizes a woman seems to be too dependent on men, but once something happens, for example, a man does something bad to a woman, she will not keep calm and quiet. She is always ready to fight to defeat the man. This poem describes the double-faced women characteristic. Women seem to be obedient, too dependent on men, but on the other hand, They are smart and know what men are like, and whenever men do something bad for men, they are ready to fight.
So now Tori will read a poem titled Women Don't Riot by Anna Castillo.
Women don't riot, not in mafias in Malaysia, Mexico, or Korea, not in sweatshops in New York or El Paso. They don't revolt in kitchens, laundries, or nurseries, not by the hundreds or thousands, changing sheets in hotels or in laundries when scalded by hot water, not in restaurants where they clean and clean and clean their hands raw. Women don't riot, not sober and earnest, or high and strung out, not of any color, any race, not the rich, poor, or those in between. And mothers of all kinds especially don't run rampant through the streets. In college, those who've thought it out join hands in crucial times, carry signs, are dragged away to protest. We pass out petitions, organize a civilized vigil, return to work the next day. We women are sterilized, have more children than they can feed, don't speak the official language, want things they see on TV, would like to own a TV. Women who were molested as children, raped, beaten, harassed, which means every last one sooner or later. Women who've defended themselves and women who can or don't know how, we won't ever rise up in arms. And now Taryn's going to read the second half of the poem.
We don't storm through cities, take over the press, make a unified statement, once and for all. A third millennium call. From this day on, no more. Not me, not my daughter. Women don't form a battalion, march in arm, across continents bound, by the same tongue, same food, or lack thereof. Same God, same abandonment, same broken heart. Raising children on our own, have so much endless misery in common, that must stop. Not for one woman or every woman, but for the sake of us all. Quietly instead, one and each takes effects. Rejection, bureaucratic dismissal, disease that should not have been. Insult, shove blow to the head, a knife at her throat. She won't bite, she won't even scream. Taught as she's been, to be brought down as if by surprise. She'll die like an ant beneath a passing heel. Today it was her, next time who?
So this poem really highlights the different stereotypes that women fit into in society. And it's not necessarily even stereotypes because this is what happens. Women are worked raw in factories or laundry rooms, and they don't say anything because they know that that's their place in society because that's where the men have put them. And so as a result, Anna Castillo writes this poem, highlights all of these like terrible, atrocious things that are happening to women. And she basically makes a call to arms to say, come and like join this movement, being your own person, making your own decision, and working and to be your own self, like be your own person and work through this. And as she goes on, you can see that she's more or less worried, not about herself, but about the people that will come after her, because she knows she has made a stand, and she just wants the rest of us to make a stand as well. What do you say?
So, and then also this part about the women who go to college who, riot and they try to do something, but at the end of the day, you go back to work the next day. It's not really a big part of your life, and you try to help, but it really doesn't do it. So.
Even with like getting this education, a lot of these women will get the education, get the degree, and then fall back into being like the mom and like being that housewife kind of thing. And it has changed in today's society a little bit, but you'll still see that in a lot of homes. And so Anna Castillo is definitely making that call. Thank you.
Okay, so today we've talked about two poems by Anna Castillo, I Ask the Impossible and Women Don't Riot, and she highlights the issues of Chicano women and feminism and